Hey, what up, everyone? This is Gabe Stefan with Astro Talk, and today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So, first off, I do definitely want to talk about the new moon that is coming up in a couple days, which is on January 23rd, 24th, excuse me, and 25th, depending on what part of the world you're in. And then, because I'm filming this a couple days before, so this new moon in Aquarius is going to be very interesting. And then also too, and then I think I'm going to start off where I'm going to talk about just a couple of things where it's like kind of like a self-reflection thing for myself, and hopefully maybe this could be relatable to others. So first, I do definitely want to start off with, since I just started my YouTube channel, of course, I've been having fears of continuing it and like, oh my gosh, where is it going to go? And, I just started this, but it's part of being uncomfortable. I think that's something we all go through. It's kind of like starting a new relationship, starting a new job, starting a new career path, starting a new home, starting a new vacation. Vacation. Or even, traveling to a new land, like a new foreign place. So it's part of being uncomfortable. Especially since I am going through, I feel like, a transition in my life since I left my normal job that I was working, and I am definitely happier since I've left there. I learned a lot of things from that job too as well, so I'm not going to discredit it, but just like, I wasn't happy, so it was one of those things. I had to take myself out of the equation and put myself in a new equation, basically. So yeah, it's very interesting going through that change. I'm definitely feeling the change in my daily routine, and of course with my reality is starting to change, I feel like. So yeah, that's why I kind of took a little bit longer to post a little bit more content, because I was kind of like doubting, like, where is this going to go? But at the same token, I remember just watching Deep Astrology last night with Leo King, that you guys should definitely check out. If you're into astrology, he's my mentor, basically. And he basically touched base on this and kind of gave me encouragement to just keep going, keep doing it, just see where it goes. And it kind of relates to this new moon. So that's why I don't know if some of you guys are going through changes too in your life, where it's like you took yourself out of the equation recently, or in whatever area of life, and now you're trying something new. So it's like, this is part of the journey. We're in uncomfortable situations to create new comforts in our life. So that's why I wanted to touch base on this, because I feel like, I know I'm probably not the only one going through this, but this is something new for me. Also, I don't want to be I don't want to be a corny astrologer. I don't want to be, I want to be someone who's a little different with my stuff. And also too, I'm trying to come up with different ways of putting this information out there, and relating to people too as well. So I'm trying to figure out new things as well. So this is like a journey for me. So if you're with me, thank you so much for already watching videos. Thank you so much for already subscribing if you did already. This is just the beginning. I am not going to stop. That's what I told myself. So I just wanted to give you that kind of update as well, what's going on with me personally. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the things. So into the gig. So all right. So we have this new moon coming up on January 24th. It's in Aquarius at 4 degrees. This new moon is okay. So this new moon's coming after a lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. So this is now beginning a new cycle. So we have to look at it that way. Coming off of eclipse season. So this is the first new moon after eclipses. So that's one. Two is not just a normal new moon in Aquarius. It's actually a lunar new year beginning in the Chinese zodiac. Okay, so that's another thing. And following up with that, we are actually starting a new Chinese cycle in the zodiac. So if some of you guys know that each year represents an animal or a living creature for each year, and there's 12 signs, there's 12 animals, and there's 12 signs of that. And of course, if you know the myth, there is a race, and we are starting that race all over again. And we start with the rat because the rat won the race. Okay, so this Friday we begin the year of the rat. And with that being said, just touch base on the race a little bit. The rat actually rode on the ox when it was racing, and they both had similar common interests, and they worked together. And eventually, once they were about to reach the finish line, because the rat was riding the ox, because the rat figured a way of, well, maybe I can, work with this ox, because he's leading the way, and maybe, or she, we don't know, it could be he or she. They were leading the way to the finish line, and right before the finish line came, the rat hopped off the ox and zipped to the finish line right before the ox could finish. And no, the ox was not upset, but because the ox was humbled anyways to get second. However, the rat won the race. So this is the year of the rat. And of course, next year would be the year of the ox, and then so forth with the rest of the animals and creatures. Or I think they were all animals except for the dragon. Dragon, I guess, is considered an animal, I guess. But yeah, so that's just touch base on the Chinese myth and why there's a Chinese zodiac and how it relates to the reason why they name certain years and why they go through it. And then, they also add elements too, so it's metal, so it's the year of the metal rat or something like that. So I'm not going to go too in detail with that because I don't have enough knowledge about it. However, I just know the basics. So we're just going to talk about that. But yeah, like I said in my 2020 horoscope for for general collective, it's a win or lose year. So whether you like it or not, it's a win or lose year. It's a year whether you're going to go after your goals and accomplish, have a plan, be determined and stick with it, and have the eye for the tiger and go for that finish line. Or this is going to be a year where you kind of like fall back and watch everyone else win. So just keeping it real. But otherwise than that, I wanted to point that out before I talk about the Aquarius new moon. Okay, so this new moon in Aquarius, which I'm actually pretty excited about, to be honest, because it's bringing a lot of energy to it, unexpected energy too for some of us. It feels more like we're riding some kind of wave. That's what it feels like. And not just that, it's a pivotal shift. It's going to shift us definitely into the new world, A, and then B, also based off of what decision we've made before the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and what direction you're going in. It's going to either cause a disruption on your path, especially if you're going backwards, I would say. If if you're moving forward, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is always about forward movement. So when the planet Uranus is involved, or this occurs in a Uranus ruled sign, which is just Aquarius, it's all about moving forward. It's all about detaching from the past. It's all about finding new solutions to either goals, problems you have, and for the betterment of society. Because Uranus does represent people. And since Uranus rules Aquarius, that's a main theme in Aquarian sign is people, the society, the collective. So knowing that, this new moon will definitely either disrupt or have you ride the wave. It's going to be one or the other. But it's going to be unexpected things. And like I said, I'm not saying this is a negative new moon. It has its challenges, but in my opinion, it's good challenges for some of us, or I would say most of us. It's going to be good challenges for most of us. And it's going to give you the jolt of energy that you need, especially after this Saturn-Pluto conjunction and all the eclipses and all the intense astrological energy we've been in for the past couple weeks. Because I know it's definitely made a lot of people tired. If a lot of people have been wondering, oh, I've been way more tired. I think it's because of the winter, and I'm like, this winter has not been bad here in the U.S. for the most part, especially on the East Coast side or the eastern half of the nation. It has not been a bad winter. So knowing that, I wouldn't even say it's the winter. I would say it's probably because of all the energy that we've been through, because we've been through so much converging of timelines and converging of just the old and the new. That takes a lot of energy out of us. It's like we're compressed into multiple portals and multiple timelines and multiple energies, and we're like sifting through it, and then now we're about to come pretty much out of it, in my opinion. Excuse me. This new moon's going to definitely get us out of that. So I'm pretty excited about that. There is some other things going on too as well. So it's not just the new moon. And before I even talk about, I just want to finish up one more point about the new moon. The sun will, as of today, this is January 22nd, as of today, the sun is going to exactly square Uranus. It's going to create that difficult aspect. That's why I said I'm going to credit, because I don't want to take things from my mentors and be like, oh, like act like I just been doing, been studying. And no, like the Leo King also brought this good point up, which he brought up a good point that for the past 7 years, even including last year, the sun squared Uranus, but the sun was in Capricorn when that happened, and Uranus was in Aries. So there's definitely a different vibe with that. But this is the first year where we're going to have today the sun square Uranus, where the sun's in Aquarius and Uranus is in Taurus. And that's going to give us definitely different vibes of self-worth, challenges around self-worth, especially with the people we're surrounding ourselves with, our values, everything that revolves around ascending yourself in a better physical life and making sure you have the right people around you to go forth with that process. And knowing that having the sun be in Aquarius squaring Uranus, we haven't felt that energy since early 1940s, maybe, when the last time Uranus was in Taurus. So this is a energy we haven't felt since World War II era. So I want to point that out. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and show the chart. So you kind of see what I'm talking about in terms of the universal aspects. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera. So bear with me. Okay, so we've done this before in previous videos. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and show the aspects in the charts. And because this is not the only thing that's going on. So first, the new moon in Aquarius is going to occur on Friday, January 24th at 4:41 Eastern Standard Time. So of course, definitely adjust your time when this happens. For some of us, if you're watching this from Australia, it will obviously be on the 25th. So I'm just giving you an example. If someone from Australia, I can't even speak today. Anyone who's from Australia, if they so happen to run to my video, it will be happening on the 25th. So just give you a heads up. Okay. So, get my pen. So this new moon is going to be at 4 degrees of Aquarius, 21 minutes. Okay? And before this new moon happens, this is one point I do want to point out because I do not want to forget this. So before any new moon, 30 degrees before the sun, before the new moon hits, is considered the dark moon phase. Okay, so once the moon, because right now, I'll say today, on January 22nd, the moon is probably going to be, I think it's probably entering 4 degrees of Capricorn. It's probably at that point right now, when I think about it. So knowing that, let's just say today is January 22nd, the moon would be sitting right here, okay? And at this point, the moon is going to be considered dark moon. And the reason why we consider that is because once it reaches the point 30 degrees before the sun, you can't see it visibly. So you won't be able to see the moon, especially even before sunrise. You're not going to be able to see the moon at all because the sun's light will block out the moon visibly. So knowing that, once the dark moon happens, anything in this path of the dark moon will be affected. So knowing that, we have 3 major planets. And of course, there's a point in the sky that's not going to be shown here too, because if we go to the opposite end, we have the North Node in Cancer that is part of the moon, because it's the ecliptic axis that the sun and the moon, once they align with each other, it creates eclipses. So this is the axis. And the South Node is at 8 degrees of Capricorn, which is not shown here. So that will be part of the dark moon. It won't be able to be seen. Same thing with Jupiter at 12 degrees, 6 minutes. So we've already been through a phase of clearing our beliefs, traditions, old ways of thinking, not basing our beliefs off of our old experiences that we've been in, especially once Jupiter came off of the South Node. We've been able to clear that, so now we're developing new traditions, new ways of thinking. Okay. And then now also, the dark moon phase will include Saturn and Pluto, which we just came off of a major conjunction with these two. So it's going to cover that as well. So whatever intensity we were in a couple weeks, I'll say like around January 12th, it will be covering that as well. Our emotions will be feeling that energy. And what has so far materialized after this conjunction point, especially with what direction we are going in, especially what are we going to master in this new era? What are our new long-term goals, commitments, routines? What mountain we're climbing up now? So this is what it's at. That's what this dark moon's going to cover, and this dark moon's you're going to feel it emotionally. And usually, one thing I want to point out with dark moons, it's not a good time to start something new during dark moon phases. So, I mean, it's not a good day to, like, I'll say, begin a new business. It's not a good time to do that. Like today, I wouldn't suggest that. But I just wanted to point that out. Because this dark moon is going to be very intense because it's going to be covering all the eclipse energy, everything. So you're going to feel it today and tomorrow for sure. Or we'll say January 22nd and January 23rd and some of the 24th. So you'll definitely feel some of that energy as well. Okay, so back at the new moon. Now, when the new moon happens, we have to look at where it's deposited in, what sign it's deposited in. And of course, it's in Aquarius, as you see the two squiggle lines. That's the symbol for Aquarius. And we have to look at its ruler. And its ruler is Uranus at 2 degrees in Taurus. And the thing is, even though it's post square, it's still going to be making that aspect to this new moon. So as we see this red line going towards the new moon. So Uranus is definitely going to be a big part of the next couple days and into the new moon. It's going to be somewhat of a shocking energy for quite a few of us, but then also it's going to be a good jolt of energy for quite a few of us as well, especially going towards the direction that we're going. This is a very forward-thinking new moon because even though it's not conjunct Mercury, which is sitting at 13 degrees, 53 minutes, even though it's way out of orb now to be part of the conjunction of the new moon, but it can still be applied to this because Mercury was here at this point, I think a week ago. So since Mercury was at this point, this is going to be on our minds. We've already kind of felt what was going to be something new coming. And now we're really thinking about the future this next couple of days. It's going to be very important. And like I said, this is not a backwards kind of new moon. This is that you don't want to set your intentions or anything revolving the past. This is all about the future. Because if you're going to go in the past, Uranus is going to definitely slap you in the face. You just keep it real. Uranus is not necessarily a harsh planet, but it is a planet that's trying to get you to go forward. It's a planet that's trying to keep you thinking of the new, send you higher into the sky since it rules the heavens. And when you're constantly in the past, Uranus is looking at you like, are you fucking serious right now? Especially when it didn't work out. That's something to think about. Now, there's a nice little aspect too that the sun and the moon will make before this new moon, which is a sextile to Chiron and Aries. So, especially if you're going in the right direction, especially if you're, riding the wave, this can be healing, especially to your ego. It can definitely be healing. It could definitely, it may not sometimes look the way you want it to, but at the same token, as long as you're accepting this path and actually going with the flow with it, this can actually be healing for your self identity, especially since Aries, it's in Aries, and Chiron does represent the wounded healer. This is something to think about. Or, like I said, if you're going backwards, this will create more insecurities, especially with yourself. All right, so there's other things going on in this new moon that I do definitely want to point out. The first thing is, at the same time, there would be a building energy of Venus and Pisces here at 13 degrees, 26 minutes, starting to build a conjunction with Neptune at 16 degrees of Pisces, 51 minutes. I'm pointing this out because obviously Neptune is at home here in Pisces. It's very strong. It's going to be here for another 7 years. I would say, no, I'll take that back. Not 7 years, probably like 5. Yeah, I would say 5-6 years. And Venus is exalted in this position. So you have two planets in a very good sign. It's in a very good position. So this energy is very strong in Pisces. Especially Venus likes to be in idealistic, creative, romantic energies of Pisces. And this is definitely Venus definitely loves to be easygoing in Pisces. It definitely loves to connect with others and hopefully move on from the past. And of course, Neptune kind of represents the past in a sense. But it does ask you to, it definitely asks you from your higher conscious spiritually to remove yourself from situations that hold you back. So, these two planets will be building a hard aspect to Mars in Sagittarius, 14 degrees, 33 minutes. And Mars is definitely pushing his beliefs here in Sagittarius. He's definitely wanting to be on an adventure, being very courageous. And he's looking at these two and basically challenging the feminine within us. And he's definitely challenging us in a sense where he wants to experience the world at large, but at the same token, he wants to do it based off of his experiences, his beliefs, his knowledge, while these two are just going with the flow. And these two are asking him to go with the flow with your beliefs, not to push your beliefs on others, and to sometimes even take a break, which Mars does not really want to take a break in Sagittarius. He wants to keep partying, keep going, keep pushing. So knowing that, this weekend, because this aspect does definitely peak out Sunday and Monday. So some people's masculine drives may all of a sudden slow down because of this aspect. And also too, I would suggest to definitely do not push your beliefs on others. This is not a good weekend to do that. Of course, you're going to see it in the politics. It's all going to be there. Or, especially here in the U.S., the impeachment trial, this energy is going to definitely build that up in some sense. And then also, of course, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, that's definitely going to keep this process going, especially behind closed doors, since these two are not making any aspects to anything in this chart right now or in the sky. But there is a positive aspect that Mars will be making in this period. It will be making a sextile to Mercury at 13 degrees in Aquarius. So as long, yeah, you might have your beliefs and opinions, but as long as you're not pushing it upon anyone else, and especially as long as you're moving forward to your future, it will eventually support all this energy that is going on. Okay. Okay, so I just want to close this video out because I don't want it to separate into two by accident. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good energy with this new moon. But definitely ride the wave. This is a weekend to ride the wave. This is not a weekend to... I mean, yes, you're going to see some people bail out. You're going to see some bailouts with situations, relationships, jobs, whatever. You're going to see people bail out. But as long as you're not like completely, disconnecting, because that could be one of the negatives to this new moon, is where people will disconnect completely. For example, where all of a sudden, a relationship is going good, or like you're dating someone and it goes really good. All of a sudden you're like, wow, this is, I think this is the man or woman or whoever you're dating of my dreams. And then all of a sudden they disconnect from you out of the blue, and you don't hear from, they ghost. They just ghost. Okay? If that happens, look at it this way, because Uranus is challenging your self-worth and values. Just be like, you know what? It's their loss. It is what it is. Something better is going to come. And especially with this the astrology this year, something new will happen. Okay? So don't look at it negatively. All right, well, thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you have, please do if you haven't. Of course, there'll be more content. I will be on it now, since I got words of encouragement to keep going, not just from Leo King, but even from others. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, you'll definitely see more of Gabe Stefan. So yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.